Well, hello everyone and welcome. Cynthia Tomaine here with Interactive Brokers, and you've joined us today for a presentation from Trade Ideas LLC. I'm very pleased to have with us this afternoon Sean McLaughlin, who is the Senior Market Strategist of Trade Ideas, and he's here to talk to us about how to leverage the power of AI for smarter strategy and algorithmic trading. So with that, let me go ahead. I'm going to pass the controls over to Sean. Sean, if you can share your desktop, let's get underway this afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you for that introduction. I trust you can all see my screen right now. I just got my little...
Looks great.
Okay, sorry, we have a little bit of a delay. All right, as Cynthia just published a little disclaimer, I too have a disclaimer to share. The types of securities, forms, and research tools used in this webinar are for demonstration purposes only and should not be considered a recommendation by Interactive Brokers and its affiliates, etc., etc. Well, Cynthia, I'm glad to be here. Trade Ideas has been a partner with Interactive Brokers for many years now. I lose track. I think it's been 7 or 8 years now where we've had some brokerage connection tools with Interactive Brokers customers, and it's been a very fruitful partnership, not only for us, but for our customers, and we look forward to continuing that relationship for many years to come. As Cynthia said, my name is Sean McLaughlin. I'm the Senior Market Strategist at Trade Ideas LLC. If you want to send me an email, you see my email address right there, sean@trade-ideas.com. I'm also very active on Twitter. My handle is @ChicagoSean on Twitter. Before you ask, no, I no longer live in Chicago. I used to live there for 10 years or so. I was a former member of the Chicago Board of Trade. But these days I call Colorado home, and so that's where I am at. Now, before I get into the nuts and bolts of this presentation, I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to go through a little presentation here, a few slides. I'm not going to wow you with my PowerPoint skills. Definitely not going to do that. Hopefully, where I will wow you is with the content that we discuss. But when I get through the slides, then I'm going to reserve a little time at the end to kind of show you guys a little bit of our software. We're not going to get too deep into it, but I'll just give you a high-level overview of what the software looks like and how you might use it and how it integrates with Interactive Brokers. And then also, Cynthia mentioned there is a questions panel in your GoToMeeting interface there. If you do have questions, please throw them in there. I'm gonna wait till the end of the presentation to take questions. So send your questions in at any time, but I will answer them when we get to the end. All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, let's get into the presentation. Now, I'm not gonna tell you anything that you don't know when it comes to why traders fail. If you've been trading for any length of time, you've probably encountered the main handful of reasons why all traders fail. And even before I get into that, I like to riff on something that I call the trader's paradox. The trader's paradox is this. If you were to fill a room up with 100 successful traders, okay, they could trade any products. They could trade stocks, futures, options, Bitcoin, Forex, whatever, doesn't matter. But if you fill the room with 100 successful traders, I will promise you that every one of those traders makes money in a different and unique way. Now, there may be commonalities across from person to person. There might be a bunch of people that are momentum traders. There might be a bunch of people that are mean reversion traders. There might be people who are day traders, and there might be people that are long-term investors. There will be some commonalities for sure, but I promise you that every one of those successful traders has a little bit of unique secret sauce that works for them, and that's why they make money. Now, on the flip side of that, I'm willing to bet that every trader that loses money for the same 5 or 6 reasons that we're going to go over right here. And I call this the paradox of trading because if there's essentially an unlimited amount of ways to make money, yet there's only 5 or 6 ways that people typically lose money, then why is it so hard to make money? You would think with all these unlimited opportunities, everybody would be making money. Well, That's the paradox of trading that I always talk about. So why do traders fail? Again, I'm not going to break any new ground here. Most of this stuff is going to be obvious to you, and there's no particular order here, no rank, no one thing is worse than the other. But let's start with the first one: position sizing. It's very tempting for new traders, especially new traders, or traders that have a little bit of an ego or have a little bit of emotion around an idea, but it's common for those traders to trade far too large than how they should be trading. They're risking too much money on any individual trade, and certainly far too much money in relation to the size of their account. And I could tell you, if you're trading too big, it doesn't take much to suffer losses that will hurt significantly, which risk putting you on tilt, which is a whole emotional, psychological thing that we're not going to get into. But once you're on tilt, then bad decisions seem to compound upon themselves. So position sizing is often a trigger point for people. Big losses. I've touched upon that with position sizing. Look, there are four outcomes for any trade that you put on. And I don't care what time frame you're trading. It doesn't matter if you're an intraday trader, if you're a swing trader holding positions for several days at a time, or if you're a long-term investor. Every trade you put on has four possible outcomes. And they are, you can make a little bit of money, or you could lose a little bit of money, or you could make big money or lose big money. Essentially, all trades will fall into those four buckets. Our job as a trader, regardless of the time frame that we're on, our job as a trader is to eliminate big losses from our trading performance. If we do nothing else but just remove the big losses from our trading arsenal, then here's what happens. Your small losers and your small winners will offset each other, basically leaving you net zero. But the handful of big winners will make all the difference in your portfolio. And I can tell you from personal experience, of all the swing trades I've done this year, I've done approximately 215 swing trades this year, give or take, calendar year 2020. And out of those 215 trades, I'd say close to 200, maybe 195 of those trades have been a wash. Small losers, small winners, basically nothing. But the 10 or 15 trades, or I should say there are 10 or 15 trades that represent all of my trading profits for the year. So I cannot underemphasize how important it is to have those big wins and not have the big losses. As long as you have a handful of big wins, that's the recipe for long-term success. So small wins, I put this in here because it's very tempting sometimes for traders to, whenever they got a win, whenever they got a winning trade, they're so eager to take it off and book that win. There's a popular saying out there that you've probably heard that goes by, you never go broke taking profits. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but I disagree with that premise. I know it sounds plausible, right? And it's a nice little throwaway catchphrase, but I will argue that you can go broke taking small profits, because what we talked about with the big losses is if all you have is small wins and small losses, you're basically a wash. Unless you have a really high win rate, which is really hard. It's harder than it sounds, trust me. You're really going to be spinning your wheels and putting a lot of effort in for minimal reward, if any. You need to have the big wins. So a lot of reasons that a lot of traders fail is because they don't get the big wins. They're so quick to take their profits. All right, poor strategies. That's another reason why traders often fail. And I'm guilty of this. I started trading in 1998. Okay, I was a very active day trader of NASDAQ stocks primarily during the stock market bubble and bust, the internet, or what do you call it, the .com boom and bust from 1998 to 02. That's when I cut my teeth trading. And I can tell you that I made money for a while, but in hindsight, I think I could chalk that up to dumb luck. I mean, it was an unusual market during that time. I didn't really have a strategy or a series of strategies that I was employing. I mean, I thought I did, but in hindsight, I really didn't have any strategies that I was leaning on. And traders who don't have strategies, who come to the market with a plan, whether it's a money management plan, a trade selection plan, a position management plan, if you don't have these things lined up, over time, you're going to be a net loser. You might win occasionally, and those wins will keep you excited and keep you interested. But if you don't have strategies that you can lean against when things get weird, when markets get crazy, if you don't have rules to follow, you're going to find yourself swimming in choppy waters without a life preserver. Not a good feeling. Next one is undercapitalized. I don't know about you, but I've certainly been a victim, not a victim. I've been hampered by being undercapitalized from time to time in my trading career. And undercapitalized really kind of dovetails well with the position sizing that we talked about at the top. Oftentimes when you're undercapitalized, you tend to put on bigger trades than you probably should relative to your capital, because you just want to feel like you're getting something out of it. If you have a $5,000 account and you're buying positions that are 10 shares or 15 shares, you feel like even when you get a big win, you don't feel like it was worth the effort. That's a trap. That's where people get caught. And so they try to trade a lot bigger than their capital should allow. And so undercapitalized leads to bad decisions. Next, and I'm almost done here with the reasons traders fail, but the next one here, again, no order of magnitude here, but wrong expectations. And I deal with this all the time at Trade Ideas. Trade Ideas has been around since 2003. We have thousands and thousands of active subscribers who use our software. But one of the things that we deal with on a regular basis is we get people coming to us who are real excited about learning how to trade, and they want to use our software to perform better. But if they're brand new to the game, they come in thinking that they're going to take their $10,000 account and earn $500 a day in trading profits. Now, certainly that can be done. I mean, there's no limit to what can be done in the stock market. But for most people, that expectation of coming in and earning $500 a day with your $10,000 account, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. And disappointment leads to bad decisions, leads to losing. And finally, and I know that we're all guilty of this, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, I'm certainly guilty of this. Being undisciplined is the undoing of every trader from time to time, and sometimes permanently, right? If you're not following your rules, if you're not exercising against your strategies, if you're not managing your losses and sticking to your stop losses, if you're not letting your winners run, if you're just shooting from the hip and just taking trades willy-nilly, I promise you that is not a sustainable long-term edge. That will come back to haunt you at some point. So these 7 items that I show right here, for me, in my opinion, are the reason why all traders fail. Some derivation of these 7 items right here. Now, mea culpa, a little personal thing about me. Where has been my biggest downfall as a trader? I mentioned before, I started trading in 1998, so I've been in this game for 22 years now, a little bit more than 22 years. And I can tell you where I have struggled the most is I've been guilty of what we call strategy drift. Maybe some of you have heard this. Strategy drift essentially means you come up with an idea, you put a lot of work into it, and you start trading it, and win or lose, usually lose. After you've been at it for a little while, you throw in the towel and start a new strategy. And then you do that sexy new strategy for a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever, and for whatever reason, you lose interest in it, or it seems to be not effective or not as good as you thought, and then you move on to the next one. And folks, I can tell you, I've for 22 years, and this is still a problem. It's still a problem I deal with some of my personal trading. Is I'm always coming up with new strategies. I mean, you should see my Google Drive right now. It's a graveyard of spreadsheets from past strategies that I've come up with and brainstormed and tinkered with and back tested. I mean, it's a comical comical graveyard of bad strategies, or maybe they were good strategies, but I got away from them because I've been so guilty of strategy drift throughout my career. And why is this bad? Why is strategy drift so detrimental to a trader? Well, let's get into that, because it's a process that takes a lot of time. And folks, time has an opportunity cost, right? So let's go through this. Like, what are the processes for building a strategy? And let's explain why this takes so long. First, you got to come up with an idea, right? Like, what kind of trading strategy do you want to do? Do you want to be buying breakouts? Do you want to be doing mean reversion trades? Do you want to buy small cap stocks that are being hyped up? You know, whatever your strategy is, you got to come up with a brainstorm of an idea, because that's where it starts, the idea conception. Next, you got to start modeling this idea. Like, what are the triggers that get you into a trade to begin with? Is it a stock printing a new all-time high? Is it a certain volume threshold has been met? You know, what does a trade trigger look like? That's what we call idea modeling. Next is idea testing. So you start, you know, going through some cursory back tests and seeing if I were to, let's just say I'm doing an intraday breakout strategy and buying the intraday high on stocks, right? So if I bought the intraday high of every stock that made an intraday high, you know, within this one window, how would my performance be? And you got to see what that looks like. And once you've gone through that and you've run those back tests, which, by the way, folks, years ago, I used to do back testing by hand. What I mean was, I would have my tick data from my brokerage, and I used to do this on futures. I used to day trade S&P futures and Dow futures, and I would go tick by tick throughout the day and back test my breakout strategies based on you know, how the market traded that day. And when you start stringing together days and days and weeks of this, I mean, it takes a long time to do the back test, especially by hand, which is what I did. So it takes time. Now, optimization is the next step. Once you've you've gone through the process of running that back test, then you got to dig into the data. You know, where are you performing well? Where are you performing bad? How can this strategy be improved? Depending on how many factors you're looking at, that could be a process that could, again, take more time. And then once you've got to a point where you've back tested, you like the results, you've optimized it, it's working the way you think it should work, then it's time to start forward testing. You're not committing real capital to work yet, but you are following the market in real time, executing your strategy, paper trading it or paper tracking it, however what you want to call it, and seeing how that works. Assuming that the strategy passes that test, then it's time to start putting some real capital to work. And that's when the rubber hits the road. Now, if you're doing it right, if you're doing it smart, you're only putting a little bit of money to work. You might have, you know, $100,000 of buying power, but you're only committing $10,000 of buying power, right? Doing it real low because you want to see how real world executions affect the output of your strategy. And then once you've done that, oftentimes it's time to circle back. Oh no, I uncovered the warts of this strategy. With real money at play, I found out that, boy, the execution risk really makes this a struggle, really makes it hard. And nothing wrong with that. This is a part of the process. But if it wasn't clear up until this point, going through all these steps you see on the screen, all of this takes time. And depending on what kind of strategy you're doing, and depending on your skill set, and depending on how much time you could allocate to this could take weeks to do one strategy. I could tell you for sure, for me, when I was doing it by hand, I would spend weeks on any one strategy going through this process. And folks, you know this, time is money, right? You got bills to pay, you got rent to pay, you know, we need to be making money. That's why we're here, right? We're not trading because we're bored. We're not doing it because it's a hobby. We're here to make money. And the longer we spend time going through this process and not actually trading and making money, that opportunity cost adds up, as this slide surely shows. Now, enter trade ideas. this is kind of the crux of my presentation here. One way that you could combat the time suck of building your own strategies and the hard steps you got to go through is to let artificial intelligence that we call Holly here at Trade Ideas, let an artificial intelligence engine perform all of this work for you. And if you can let the engine do that, your job is simply to execute. So before I bring up the trading platform, I'm going to show you the live platform as it's working today in the market. But I want to give you kind of a high-level overview of what the Holly AI engine is, how it does what it does. So remember when we were talking about strategy building, we talked about how we go through all those processes of how we build a strategy. Well, Holly AI has taken all these steps out of the equation for you. The AI engine currently consists of approximately 70 strategies. I forget the latest count, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 strategies. All 70 strategies have been developed in-house by the traders that work here at Trade Ideas. Every one of the traders here, like myself, have been in the market for at least 15 years. Most of us have been trading for more than 20 years. It doesn't mean we're geniuses. It doesn't mean we have a monopoly on great ideas. It just means we've been around the block and we know how to build strategies. And so the strategies that are within the AI were first built by the humans here at Trade Ideas. Now, once those strategies have been inputted into the system, the AI takes it from there. Every night when the market closes, the AI will run backtests on all 70 strategies. It will dig into the data and it will look at each strategy one by one and say, okay, this strategy XYZ, here's the performance, it's positive, here's the win rate, all these little data points. And then it'll say, okay, let's see how we can improve this strategy. And it will look at, there's like 40 or 45 parameters, data points that it looks at for each strategy and determines how the strategy can be improved. So for example, the backtest the results of the backtest might show that this one particular strategy, this strategy XYZ, seems to do pretty well, but whenever it trades any stocks that are priced below $20 a share, the performance tends to suffer. So the AI will say, all right, well, let's filter out those stocks under 20 bucks a share and see how the results look without those. And it'll go through that process for like 45 different parameters. I forget exactly how many, but it'll do that for every strategy, all 70 strategies. Now, if it wasn't clear from before, to do that process on one strategy, if you and I were to do that by hand, it would take us, for one strategy, probably take us all night. Well, the AI is doing that for 70 strategies every night. And if you and I were to do that by hand, it would take us a couple weeks. So number one, the AI engine is saving you time. It's giving you strategies that are performing or that are optimized to perform best in the current market environment. Now, does this mean it's a guarantee that it's always going to give you winning trades? Absolutely not. Nobody can guarantee you winning trades all the time. All right. All Holly can guarantee you is that the trades that it has selected for you to trade, if you want to trade them, it's up to you. These trades come from strategies that have a demonstrated edge, an edge that has performed over time, and the results back it up. So if you can trust the AI to deliver you trades that have an edge, again, your job is simply to execute. Because as a trader who's been in this a long time, I can tell you, our job is to execute against edges. That's if you could sum up in one sentence what a trader's job is, a trader's job is to execute against edges. That's it. The more, even if it's an edge that just favors you, odds 51 to 49, the slimmest of an edge, the more we can execute against that edge as a trader, the more likely we are to reap the rewards of that edge. All right, so let's pull this slide down for a second. I want to show you the live platform in action right now. Let me just minimize this here. So this is the Trade Ideas software. Now, just like any other software platform, interactive brokers included, there's lots of bells and whistles. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through every feature here of the platform. I just want to do kind of a high level, show you what's going on related to what I've already talked about. So we right now are looking at the Holly AI engine. This is one of our layouts. And if you look at this window right here, this will show you all these strategies right here. These are all the strategies that are active today. Now, remember when I said before that the AI currently consists of about 70 strategies? Well, all 70 strategies are not active every trading day. One step that I forgot to mention is that every night after the AI engine has optimized each one of these strategies to perform best in the current market environment, then the final step is the AI will determine what type of market environment we're currently in. What it does is it takes a look at the S&P, takes a look at the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, and says, all right, are we in a uptrending market or a downtrending market? Are we in a volatile market? Are we in a high volume or low volume market? So it takes a few data points like that, throws it into the soup and determines, okay, based on the type of market I deem that we're in, I will activate these. In this case, I mean, it looks like there's, I don't know, 15 strategies. That's a lot, actually. It's usually not this many, but it'll say, all right, based on the market environment I see, these, 12 or so strategies are the strategies that statistically offer the best chance of delivering us profitable trades on the next trading day. So when I went through this process last night, it decided that these strategies that you see here are the ones that offer the best chance of making money. And you can see it's a mix of short strategies and long strategies. These S and L tells you if it's taking short trades or taking long trades. Now, I should also point out that Holly, as currently designed, is designed for day trading. Every trade that the Holly engine gets into intraday, the engine closes it out before the end of the day. Now, there are multiple reasons why it'll exit trades, but rest assured, it'll be out of all positions by the end of the day. Now, your job as a trader with trade ideas, you can engage with Holly in a couple of ways. Now, maybe I should take a step back and point out that I'm going to show you how traders can trade Holly. One of the great things about Trade Ideas' relationship with Interactive Brokers, which is unique to Interactive Brokers customers, this is not available to any other brokerage customer, is that Trade Ideas customers can send trades direct from the Trade Ideas platform into your Interactive Brokers account. You can do that manually if you'd like, or you can auto trade the Holly AI. You could also auto trade your own strategies, but that's not part of this discussion here, but certainly happy to give you more information on that later on. But you can auto trade the Holly AI so that you don't have to actually pull the trigger on all the trades. The engine will do it for you. Now, this window here, we don't have any open trades right now, but when any one of these strategies gets into a trade, it will pop up right here. There'll be a little bell that goes off. You'll see it pop up on your screen. You'll see the price that Holly got in, the number of shares, etc. So if you want to trade along, then your job is to either just manually do the trade, or if you're auto trading it, it'll do it for you. This window here shows you all the trades that are closed. So far today, the Holly AI engine has only done 3 trades. Okay, so it's done 2 short trades and 1 long trade. And I want to draw your attention to this window right here. You see this P&L graph, the plus 483 bucks. This is how my P&L has trended throughout the day. Not a bad day, plus $489, pretty good. Now this is based on risking $200 per trade. Now you might risk different numbers, and that's fine, and you could set that within the AI, but for me, I've got this set up so that I'm risking $200 per trade, and if I had risked $200 per each of these 3 trades, this is what my P&L would be trending at right now. Not bad, especially on what appears to be a down day in the markets. You can see I got an S&P chart right up here. We are currently selling off pretty good, right? Well, I shouldn't say pretty good, but we've been in a downtrend since Monday's close, that's for sure. Now let me bring up the Brokerage Plus window, and this is the last thing I'll show you guys, and then we can go into some questions if you have them. But this window here, this is what we call Brokerage Plus, and this is what connects to Interactive Brokers accounts. If I go to my connected button here, you'll see we have 2 choices. You could connect your Interactive Brokers account, or you could do simulated trading to practice trading with this software, or you could practice auto trading. All right, so This window here is my positions tab. Now this is just showing me positions that I have currently open. And again, this is the demo. I'm connected to the simulated trading because I'm demo this for my customers. And these are all swing trades that I'm in. But I want to bring your attention over here to the Holly AI tab. So I was showing you the Holly AI channel earlier. We actually have 3 Holly channels, Holly AI, Holly 2.0, and Holly Neo. They're just various levels of risk. One is a little bit more riskier than the next. I won't get you lost in those details, but across all 3 Holly channels, these are how many strategies are active today. Now, again, this is a lot of strategies. We don't usually have this many strategies open on any one day, usually about half this, but that's all right. That's good. We want more opportunities. Now, you'll notice in the first column under trading, it says off across the board, right? So none of these strategies are currently auto trading, but I could auto trade any one of them either a la carte or all in totals. If I want to just trade this like bullish pullback strategy right here, I could right click and enable selected strategy. If I turn that on, now it says on. Now any new trades that come through from this one strategy alone can auto trade right into my Interactive Brokers account. I'm going to turn this off because I don't want any auto trades to come in right now. I could also turn all of them on, just select all of them and right click and enable 24 selected strategies, which I will not do. But the beauty is, if you trust Holly to give you statistically significant trades, and you want to kind of be hands off and let the engine do the trading for you, you can do that. And that's only available to Interactive Brokers customers. So you are a special set of folks here. So you're lucky. You can do this. And I can tell you that with Trade Ideas, we've had this connection with Interactive Brokers for many years now. We have a pretty good mix of customers who either they do the auto trading, or they do it manual. So whenever a Holly trade comes in, they'll just manually do the trade themselves, either on their trader workstation app through Interactive Brokers or through Trade Ideas. It's up to them. And that was how it originally started. The auto trading is a relatively newer feature, just rolled out in the last couple of years, and more of our customers are gravitating towards the automated trading because, look, at the end of the day, when we're trading strategies, the biggest risk to that strategy not meeting its goals is us. It's the human, right? It's the human who has to pull the triggers on a strategy. And if we're either, maybe we're not sitting at our desk when a trade triggers, or maybe we got sloppy with our stop losses and weren't paying attention and a stock, sells off more than we expected it to, humans more than likely are the root cause of any strategy underperforming. So if you are someone who sees the value in algorithmic trading and either doesn't have the bandwidth or the, we'll call it skill set to brainstorm your own strategies and run through the whole optimization process and tweaking them, if you don't have the time, the time to do that or the skill set, then the Holly AI engine from Trade Ideas through Interactive Brokers could be a great thing for you to explore to take your trading to the next level. So again, I'm just giving you a high level overview of the software. Our software can do a lot of things, but I really just wanted to talk about the auto trading and show that off and show what that looks like and see how you can make money with Holly AI. So with that, I'm going to open the floor to any questions. Oh, and I'll just pop this up here real quick. My slide deck, just my last slide. If anybody has any more questions you think of later on, you're welcome to email me. Here's my email address, sean@trade-ideas.com. And if you want to try Trade Ideas out, if you don't currently have a Trade Ideas subscription, I'm happy to send you an email with a discount code to try it out. We're always happy to give discount codes to new subscribers. So I see that a few questions have popped into the questions panel. So let me see if I can catch up here and see what's going on. Let's see. So one question here, well, that person left, so I guess I won't answer that question. Okay, one question here from Chris is only simple long short or also option strategies? So good question. The Holly AI engine only trades stocks. All right, we don't trade options. We don't have options data on the platform. To be perfectly frank, we just don't have options data. Options data is a whole nother ball of wax. If you're an options trader, you know that. That's a very robust data set that is not only a system bandwidth hog, but also expensive. We'd have to pass those costs along to our customers. So Trade Ideas was built in 2003 to service stock trading, and that continues today. Now we do have some more data we've added recently. We do get smalls data from the small exchange, the new products launched by the folks at Tastyworks, or the small exchange, I should say. So that we have those products, but the AI itself only trades stocks, and it trades both long and short. Good question. Pierre, I see your question. Do we trade Canadian stocks? Yes, we do. We do have Canadian stocks data on Trade Ideas. You can do that. The AI, I don't believe, trades Canadian stocks though. But yes, we do have Canadian data, and you can trade Canadian stocks or get Canadian stocks signals on Trade Ideas if you'd like. Does it give any, okay, here's another question from Chris. Does the AI give any explanation to its strategy suggestions? We do have on our website, if you were to go to trade-ideas.com, we do have a page on there that will show you strategy descriptions. Now it's a broad, kind of overview of the strategy. It's a one paragraph explainer that gives you the broad concept of what that strategy is attempting to do. It does not give you the specific alerts and filters, A, because that's proprietary, and B, because those finer points are changing every day. Remember, the AI every night goes and runs back tests on every strategy and tweaks them just a little bit so that they'll perform best in the current market environment. So if I were to give you all the parameters of strategy XYZ right now, well, that might not be the same tomorrow. So no, we don't give you the nuts and bolts of the strategies. That's proprietary, but we do give you a high-level explanation of what each strategy within AI is attempting to accomplish. Pierre asked, what kind of ROI do you generate? Well, it depends on user to user, but I can tell you that since we launched Holly in January of 2016, since we launched it publicly, if you had taken every trade that the AI has done, admittedly, that would have been hard, especially before we had auto trading. But had you taken every trade that Holly had served up, you'd be outperforming the market, the S&P, by approximately 3 to 1. Now, that's either, depending on who you are, that's either a fantastic result or it's not even worth getting out of bed in the morning. I told you at the top of the call, I'm a former Chicago Board of Trade member, and so I know a lot of floor traders. And when I tell floor traders that you can outperform the S&P 3 to 1, they laugh at that. Like, what? I do that before lunch every day. So that type of trader might not find that interesting. But if you're the type of trader or investor who has their money in an index fund that's barely keeping up with the market over the last 3 years, well, outperforming 3 to 1 might sound very interesting to you. So Merhaf, I guess similar question to you, what is the average yearly return for your customers? Merhaf, if you want to send me an email, I can send you some information on that. And that's true for anybody. Anybody wants to send me an email, Sean@trade-ideas.com. I could send you some performance data, the data that we publish publicly. Pierre, how much does your software cost? Well, we have a few different subscription options, and I don't think we want to be selling software here on this call. But again, send me an email, I'll get you all that information. Happy to do it. We offer monthly and annual subscription plans. Chris, you saw an unusual options activity ticker in Trade Ideas. Yes, you did. We do have some options data. It's just very limited. It's limited to total options volumes. So you'll see what's the total option volume for one stock, both puts and calls on one day, right? That's not going to tell you, anything strike specific or expiration specific. You're not going to see any block trades and options, anything like that. It's just really high level data that's more useful. It's just for color for a stock trader. So Sam says, how does automated trading work? We kind of covered that already. You have some control of it, Sam. The control is limited to You have the ability to pick and choose which strategies you want to have active. You also can choose set how much you're willing to risk per trade, and we have a few ways you could size your positions. You could set it as just a fixed share amount, like maybe you only want to do 100 shares per trade on every trade, and regardless of how much the stock costs, you can do that. You can do it on a fixed dollar amount of how much you're investing. Like say I want to invest $5,000 per stock that I buy. So however many shares that buys, however many shares at $500 will buy, it'll get you in that. That's one way. The best way, in my opinion, is we have stop loss based sizes. So basically, it says, all right, you determine how much money you're willing to risk of your account. So let's say you have a $10,000 account and you like to risk no more than 2% of your equity on any one trade. Well, if you got $10,000 account, 2% of that is $200. So you could set it so that it will risk $200 based on wherever the stop loss level is. So let's say you're buying a stock that's $100 a share and your stop loss is at 95, which is $5 away from the current price, and you're willing to risk $200 of your capital, the AI will do all the math for you. You'll say, all right, 200 divided by 5 is 40. I think I'm doing my math right. So it'll buy you 40 shares of stock, or short $40, 40 shares of stock if it's a short trade. So the thinking there is if you hit your $5 away stop loss on 40 shares, you'll lose $200. That's the way I do it. That's the way most people do it. I think that's the smartest way, but that's my opinion. Mahesh, can you trade ETFs? Yes, you can trade ETFs. We have ETFs data on Trade Ideas. The Holly AI engine does not trade ETFs though. It just trades regular stocks. But you're free to trade ETFs if you'd like. No doubt about it. Pierre, which other countries do we cover? We only have US and Canadian stocks data. Those are the most liquid markets in the world. So that's where we trade. Sam, no, you cannot use Python or any other programming to control the automation. There is no customization in that way. Yeah, sorry. Can I add custom strategies to the Holly AI? This is questions from Tim. You cannot add custom strategies to Holly AI, but you can build your own strategies and auto trade those if you'd like. They won't be part of Holly. They'll be your own strategies. You'll notice here in the little image we got up here on the screen, if you look at there's a strategies tab right there. Within that tab, you could have your own active strategies that you could run that would run similarly to Holly, but that wouldn't be part of the AI. Rashed asks, does AI trade major indices? No, again, it just trades stocks. It doesn't trade like the S&P or the NASDAQ or the QQQ. There's more alpha in trading the individual names. I mean, that's the reason right there. All right, I've already covered performance metrics. Let's see. Okay, Audrey asks, are those actual win percentage and profit factors from the strategies on Holly AI or for illustrative purposes only? So you're talking about these images you see right now. No, these are not illustrative. At the time this image was taken, yes, these were the actual, this was the actual profit factor and the actual winning percentage. And you can see that for any strategy within AI. Yep. Bradley, I've already covered this, but I'll let you know, just send me an email, sean@trade-ideas.com. Here, I'll bring up the slide. There's my email address. If anybody wants to see performance data or wants a way to sign up for a discount, send me an email and I'm happy to get you that information. Let's see. Wow, we had a lot of questions here, Cynthia. This is great. Let me see if I have anything here I haven't covered yet. Any certain strategies safer than others, or do some strategies produce better results than others? Well, Alan, yes, some strategies perform better than others, of course. If they all traded the same, they all had the same results, and we would just trade one of them, right? So yes, there are some strategies that are safer than others. Offhand, I don't have that data to tell you which they are, but any trader who or subscriber to Trade Ideas will be able to go into the history, at least for the past 3 months, and see all the trades that happen from each strategy, and you can go in and determine which strategies make more sense to you if you want to pick and choose. Frank asks, you talked about execution risk. Can you tell me about the execution risk if I used auto trading with the Trade Ideas platform? Sure. The execution risk is simply this. If there's a fast moving market and you're trying to get in with a market order, you might, get filled at a level that's higher or lower than you expected. That's not really anything we could control, and that's a risk that is out there for every trader. Now, you do have the ability with the AI, if you want, you can customize your entries so that instead of doing market orders, you can get in with limit orders, and you can maybe adjust how much price improvement you're willing to offer for a limit order. But I always tell people this, I say, look, most of these markets, 95% of these markets that Holly will get into, or 95% of the trades that Holly will get into, the bid-ask spread is pretty tight, right? These are highly liquid names. And so I'm willing to take a little bit of slippage on an entry, because here's the thing, Frank, and we talked about this earlier on the call about the 4 possible outcomes for winning trades, four possible outcomes for any trade. The biggest one being, we need to have the occasional big win. Well, if I'm entering Holly AI trades with a limit order on a fast moving stock, and if that stock rips right at the time, and my limit order doesn't get filled, and I miss that one big winner because I was nickel and dime in my entry, if I miss that one big trade, that right there could be the difference between me having a profitable day, a profitable week, or even a profitable month. I don't want to miss those trades. If I do market orders, I know I will get every trade. Might I have not the best execution sometimes? Yes, but catching the big winner and not missing a big winner more than makes up for it. That's my opinion. Okay, let's see. It's a Holly. This is from Zhang. Apologize if I mispronounced your name. If the Holly engine has positive edge, why are you guys selling it as a service rather than raising money to make more money yourselves? Well, maybe that's coming, Zifan. Maybe that's coming. But it really comes down to the fact that the owners of this firm have been traders since the 90s, and they were on the wrong side of getting screwed by the markets and the market makers, and they just have a pretty elevated idea of being a champion for the retail investor, much like Interactive Brokers. And so our founders have always been all about providing the best tools for traders to outperform the market. And we feel that if we do that good, that more than makes up for anything else. So that said, many of us here at Trade Ideas do use Holly to trade, okay? And but look, there's plenty of water out there for all of us to swim, as they say. Okay, Eric, how many strategies are currently included in the software, and how often are new strategies added? Currently, there are approximately 70 strategies. I don't know the exact number, give or take a few, but it's around 70. How often are strategies added? There's no schedule. It's more of, if the guys are playing with something and they come up with a strategy and it has some merit, they might throw it in. And I'd say on average we add a new strategy once a month, give or take, but there's no set schedule on that. Okay, we're almost done here. I see 2 more questions. What is the profit-taking criteria on a winning trade? The AI will generate scale out signals. No, the AI does not scale out of trades. It's always all in and all out. There are some profit-taking criteria, and it's all proprietary per strategy. Every strategy has its own profit-taking level, its own profit target. But the AI will also get out of trades for other reasons besides just hitting a stop loss or hitting a profit target. There are some other reasons, and we won't cover that here because that'll take a little bit of time. Finally, last question from Surendra, excuse me. Can you avoid closing out trades at the end of day to avoid a loss? Yes, you can override any Holly signals or any open orders. In fact, I'll just show this real quick on my screen. If I bring back my Brokerage Plus window, you can see if I go to my orders tab, you can see all my open orders, right? These are all resting orders, stop loss orders. If I wanted to override any one of these, whether they're from my own strategies or from Holly, they will show up here. If I wanted to override, I could just click on a ticker and do cancel order to sell. And then I could hold the trade overnight if I want to. Well, Cynthia, I believe I've tackled all the questions. It looked like a daunting task at first, but believe it or not, I got through them all. So I will pass it back to you to take us into the close here.
Well, Sean, excellent presentation, and thank you so much. By the way, I want to remind everyone we have been recording today's event, and each of you will get a direct link to today's recorded playback soon after this session ends. So if you do want to come back and review those concepts, simply watch your email later on today for those that automated follow-up message. By the way, if you would like a copy of the slides, you'll find a PDF is in the handouts panel, and you can download that directly by simply clicking a button in that handouts panel before you do exit today's session. So with that, once again, thanks very much to Trade Ideas and Sean McLaughlin for an excellent presentation here today. And I also want to thank the rest of you for joining today's session. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. You can exit using the X in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Have a good one all, and thanks so much.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you, Sean.